Welcome to the Exploring Automation show, and we are very happy because this is the 10th episode. So, I am Ajay Balmurudas, and I have with me Lavanya.
Hello, excited to do the 10th one today.
Right. So, the ninth one we started with Git. So, the 10th one we'll look at Git branching.
Yeah, so I guess we saw some basics last time where we spoke about what are the different stages, like what is a working directory, what is the staging area, and then we saw what happens when we make a commit, right? Like the commit object, tree objects, and the blobs. So we just thought that logically we'll take this forward and see how branching in Git works. A lot of our in a lot of our teams we might need to do like use branching strategies, so we thought that maybe this could be a next logical thing to speak about today.
Right. So, what is Git branching?
Right, so let's start with that. Let's start with understanding what is a branch, and for that we might have to understand a couple of other concepts. So I made some diagrams, and hopefully that will help us with a few things more. Right? So let's say that we make a couple of commits. Let's say that these are C1 and C2. We have currently two commits. Right? Then we have a branch called master or main. Right? This is we usually use this as a default branch. And what this branch is basically just a pointer that points to some commit. So in this case, this master branch is pointing to the latest commit. Now there is also a special pointer called head. I think we spoke about this very briefly last time, but I'll just sort of emphasize a little more on this one today. So what this is it to mainly tell us where we currently are, right? Like this is a pointer which can move around, and uh, basically it tells us like currently which place we are at. So basically right now if it is pointing to master branch, it means that we are currently on master, right? uh, and what happens when we create branches? So what are really branches actually? I think in like other version control systems it's a very different concept, but in Git it's just basically when we create a branch we just create another like pointer like this master pointer which points to some other commit, maybe same commit, maybe some other commit. All right. And let's say we want to work on that other branch, then it would just mean that move the head from master to that other branch, and that would mean like go to that other branch, work on the other branch, right? So the concept is pretty simple in that sense. If you start imagining it as pointers, it'll be easier to understand what's actually happening internally, right? So let's say that this is our current state and we want to create a new branch called demo. All right. So the command for that is git branch and the branch name. And what happens when we do this is another pointer is created, which is what we call branch called demo, which would point to the same commit, uh, same point where we actually ran this command. Okay, so now maybe let's see this on our terminal itself. Um, so this was the project that we had used last time as well. It's just a small test application. Let's first look at maybe git log to see what is the latest commit. Right, so there is this latest commit which is about something around getting capabilities. If we see that this is like on master, and we see that our head is actually pointing to master.
Right.
So our head pointer is currently here, and that's why it says it means that we are currently on the master branch. Another way to see whether we like which branch we are on is well, okay, I have a plugin which actually tells me directly, but if we don't have that, we could just say git branch. It will list all the branches that are present and it puts a star on the name of the branch that we are currently on. So this is another way to see where our head is actually pointing to.
So
Okay.
what does it list out when you say Git branch?
This lists all the names of the branches. Basically all branches. So currently there are 3 branches here on this in this repository. Let's now create, there's one called demo1. So let's just create a demo branch right now to see that another gets created. Right? So for that we said the command is git branch demo. Right? Now it didn't really say anything on the terminal, but the way to really see whether it's actually created is we can see do git branch again. It was earlier just 3. Now we can see this 4th one as well. Demo. Right, and let's see where the head is pointing to currently. Right, so let's just look at git log again. We see that head is still pointing to master. We see that demo branch is also pointing to the same commit, but head is still pointing to master. All right, so that's basically this state that we created this branch. We got another like new branch which points to the same commit, but head is still on master. But now let's say that this demo branch is actually where I want to do some experiments maybe, right? And I don't want that to affect, like whatever experiments, code changes that I'm doing, let's say I don't want that to affect the master branch. So that's why I created this branch in first place so that I could actually, make changes on that branch without affecting master at all. Like the main reason we would do branching is to basically diverge from the main line so that we could do something that we want to do. So what that means is now I want this head to point to demo branch so that I can actually work on demo branch, not on master. So for that, we could do, the command is git checkout. So git checkout branch name. And when we do that, we can see that git says, hey, we've switched to demo branch. All right, so basically what happened here when we did checkout is that head pointer just moved from master to demo, just started pointing to demo. There's no other change. So if we now look at git log, we can see that head is now pointing to demo. Master is still pointing to the same commit, but yeah, head is now here. All right. So now if we make any new commit on this branch, then it will be a commit in the demo branch and not a commit in master. Okay, so what would happen, let's say if we did make a commit right now, is that the master will still keep pointing to the older commit. The newer commit will be created on demo branch. So basically head will still continue to point to demo and demo will point to this new commit now. So maybe we could look at this as well. So I have this code open on this ID. Let's just make similar change like we did last time. So we can just say maybe just rename this method, verify search book return results is not empty. I'm just renaming this method. And let's say we make a commit here. So we can, I'll just add everything. So git that dot add means just add everything. And I'll make a commit. It says rename test name, for example. So now if we see git status, yeah, currently it says that on branch demo, but nothing to commit. Okay. Now, even though we made a commit, I'm not sure if I lost Ajay actually. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So now we know that we made a commit, right? But even then, when we see git status, it says nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Yeah. Let's actually look at git log to see if we really made a commit. If you see git log, we can see this new commit, right? We just said a commit with a message rename test. Yeah. And we can see that head is actually pointing to demo, and basically that is this commit. Master is still the older one, right? Which is basically this state. Like demo is now pointing to a newer commit, master is still pointing to the older one, and head is pointing to demo. So basically we are on demo branch. So we can see that there is one new commit present. But when we do git status, it says there is nothing to commit, clean working directory, right? Earlier, if you remember, when we made a commit, it used to say our branch is ahead by one commit, right? Ahead with respect to origin by one commit. But here it doesn't say anything like that. Why would that be the case?
Because it is pointing to the new branch. So is that the reason it is saying there is nothing to commit? It is in line with the new branch.
Not really. So that message actually is based on what is present in the remote. So in the remote, like when we made a commit on master branch last time, the remote had, let's say, commit C2, right? And assume that it was not in demo. This commit was actually happened in master itself. Let's say that, right? But the remote master was still pointing to C2. Our local master started pointing to C3 after the commit on master branch. So that's why it knew that, hey, your remote, remote is a few commits behind. So you are a few commits ahead, and that's why if you want to sync with remote, like if you want remote also to have these commits, you need to do a push. But currently, when we created this new branch, this is only on my local. This new branch is not present in remote yet, right? So let's look at this remote as well. Okay, so this is the remote repository from which we had cloned. And if we see branches here, there are these three branches which are present. Right? But the new branch that we just created, demo, is not present here. So basically, at this point, Git doesn't know what to compare it with. So it says, like, everything is fine. It's all clean state. Right? So what we would want to maybe do is actually make like a push this commit to remote. Okay. So one way to do that is git push. But when we do this, right, Git will again give us an error. It says, hey, okay, I know you want to push to remote, but what is the name of the branch on remote? Like, what should I call that remote branch? So it gives us a hint that, hey, you can just say set upstream origin demo, for example. So we say, oh yeah, okay, push it to remote, and in that remote, you just call it demo itself. We can rename it, but for simplicity, let's just keep it same. So if I now run this command, it will, yeah, so it's pushing these things. And now if we go back to remote and just maybe refresh, yeah, so we can see that demo branch was pushed. Yeah? And we can basically see it in the list of branches as well. And now if we make another new commit here, it will start tracking. So it will be able to tell us that, hey, now your branch is ahead by, your local is ahead by one commit. So let's say we do that. Let's say actually I don't like this change, yeah? So I am removing this part again and just saying let it be as how it was earlier. Yeah? And let's say I make a new commit for this one. I'll just call it, okay, I'm just saying revert to older name. We could have done a revert itself, but for now it's just an like git add and commit. Okay, so now let's first look at git log. When we look at git log, we can again see that our head is pointing to this new commit that we just made, right? And origin demo, which is the new branch on remote, is actually pointing to a slightly older commit. Right? The one which we pushed earlier, where we had just done a rename. But our head, like locally, it is pointing to this new commit where we did a revert. Right? And now if we do git status, it will tell us, hey, your branch is ahead by one commit. And it is comparing with origin demo. So it's comparing with the remote branch, the demo branch on remote.
So why does it say nothing to commit?
It says nothing to commit because there are no changes in the staging area.
Oh.
If we make some changes, then it will first be in working directory. If we add them, it will be in staging area. So if we add them, this will say that, hey, these are different files which are ready for commit, like which you can commit if you want. Hmm? All right. So this is basically just branching, right? Now, at some point, we would want to, let's say, merge these commits which we have put on our branch to like master, right? Let's say that we are doing some experiments on our own branch, this demo branch, for example. And then after that, when we are happy with all the changes, we would want to maybe merge it back to master and say that, hey, you know what, now our app should actually use this, all these changes. So what we can do is, well, actually, like GitHub and GitLab and all these different tools actually just allow us to do this via UI as well, where we can just create pull request. So if, let's say, if I did press this, then it would basically create a pull request with all these diffs, and it would say that, hey, I want to merge these changes to master branch, right, from demo to master. And we will be able to visualize it all on the UI as well. And for the person who will maybe do a review and then merge, for them again, it would be just a click of button, like after everything is done. So this is one option. Another option is also to do this through command line. So for that, what we first need to do is, let's say now we want to merge the changes on demo branch to master. The first thing that we would need to do is go to master branch, which means same command, git checkout, but master now, because that's the branch we want to go to, right? Like, okay, before I do this, let's just see this part again. I haven't pushed this yet, right? Let me push the changes first to remote. Okay, now we see that head is currently pointing to demo, and origin demo is also at this point. Our master is pointing to this part, right? Origin master is also like 2 commits behind. Okay, now we want these 2 new commits which we made in demo branch to be present in master branch. So what we would do is, first we would go to the master branch. So it's git checkout master, and what we can do is we can just say git merge the branch which we want to merge. Right? So this is basically git merge demo, and when we do this, it just merges. And now if we look at git log, we can see that head is now to master because we did git checkout, and we can see that our origin demo and the demo branch is also pointing to this commit, right? So basically now master has these 2 commits, but just note that this is just local master, right? Origin master is still behind. So if we want to sync origin master, basically we would have to push, just say git push, and then our origin master also would, remote also would have these 2 commits. All right. So this is just basically branching, and I think a lot of teams do that mainly because they want to keep like this one main line always healthy. So when there are like anything that we want to add, let's say we want to add a new test, we probably create a different branch, make changes there. Then somebody reviews, maybe we run the tests like on those branches as well to see how stable it is, and then finally merge it. So so usually like quite a few teams follow this. Uh, this and it's okay. I mean, it really, the approach really would depend on your teams itself. Last time we saw that we were pushing directly to master branch. I've worked on teams where we actually did always push to master. We didn't really make use of branches. Like there is one team that I worked on where we did that. So that's also an approach, but really depends on teams. So because if we are always pushing to master, then it means that there is a very big responsibility that you always keep like, you know, your commits good, so that it doesn't break something else and doesn't block somebody else. So I think depending on maybe how the team works, the majority of the team, like we could choose whichever approach works best. There's no right or wrong here, I guess. All right, so we saw this. Maybe let's just briefly look at merge conflicts as well. All right. And so, okay, let's talk about what happens. Why does a merge conflict happen itself? So let me try to pull up another diagram. Yeah, so okay, so let's assume that it was initially like this. Our master was pointing to some commit. Then we created, ignore head for now, but then let's say we create a demo branch and then made a commit there, right? So this was our state earlier. Let's say at this point somebody else pushes to master branch, right? While we are still working on demo, somebody else has pushed to master. So then, in that sense, what it would really become, like after we do a pull on master, is this is our common ancestor. So this is where we took a branch demo, and then we made commits on demo, and then we realized that somebody else has pushed to master and they have made another commit. So C4 here, right? Now at this point, if we wanted to merge our, let's say, demo code to this branch, we would still run the same command, right? We would still say git merge, like we would first check out. So if we want to merge it to master, we would first point our head to master. So we would do git checkout master, and then we would say git merge this demo branch, right? And in most cases, merge usually doesn't. I mean, like if you've not touched similar areas, git is smart enough to merge both the changes. And what it actually does is like it creates a, after the merge, it creates something like another commit. So this would become, let's say, C5, which is a merge commit, and it has two parents. So like for example, C4 has just one parent, right, which is C2. This also has just one parent, but this creates a new commit uh, called merge commit, which has two parents, both these two, and our head and everything will now start pointing to C5. Uh, it will become something. Oops, sorry. Okay, just assume that we're pointing to this. Yeah, okay. Right, and yeah, assume head is there right now. So basically it creates a new commit called merge commit, which points to both these, and then basically that would mean that all the changes from both demo and this earlier master branch, everything is present now. Yeah, so ideally, like this is a happy path case where the merge commit just happens automatically. There are some times where, let's say that so you and I are working on it, and you were the one who pushed to, let's say, master. Yeah, and I'm now trying to merge my changes to master branch. Now if both of us, let's say that we both touched the same line, uh, sometimes it could be maybe same, we're just updating some configs, we touched the same line, or let's say we rename the same method but we name it differently, all whatever, like if we've touched similar areas, there is a chance that Git might not understand what to do now, like which one to use. So what it says is, hey, we need human intervention here. I tried my best to merge it, but this part I don't know, right? And that's what we call merge conflict, where it says that, hey, we need human intervention, and then somebody just look at it and then figure out which one you need, which one you don't need. All right. So maybe let's see that in action. So what I can do right now is let me just push these changes so that we are on clean state. Yeah. And I will now go to demo branch, and let's say that I'm making a change in the demo branch. Okay. Uh, yeah. For now, I'll just rename it. Oh, I can just say from demo branch so that it is easier to read. Yeah. We wouldn't really name our test like this, but it's just to show. And let's say I make this commit. Mm. Yeah, and let's say that at the same point on master there was a new commit, which you maybe you push. All right. So right now there is no commit on master, but let me. I just checked out the master branch, and let me just make a local commit myself so that we can see this conflict. Yeah. Ideally we it could be a commit that I fetched from remote because somebody else pushed. But right now, just for the sake of simplicity, I'll just make a local commit on master myself so that we can see the conflict. Yeah? So okay, so now let's say that okay, let's go back to demo branch for a bit. Here we have one additional commit, right? And we want to merge this additional commit to master. Okay, so first we go to, what will we do? We would first go to the branch where, yeah, we would go to the branch where we want to merge it. So that's master. And then we would say
git merge demo.
We would say git merge demo. But here, when we did this, it says it could not auto merge. There was a conflict. Yeah, and it actually lists down all the files which have a conflict.
Oh.
Also, we can do git status to see which files have not been merged. So currently there is just one because we changed this one. Yeah. So if we now go to this file, we can see some lesser than greater than sign. So usually all git merge conflicts will have these symbols. And it's not right now, it's just in one place because we made changes only here, but it could be at different places in the same file as well. And of course, it could be in multiple files as well, wherever there are conflicts. So we could just have these things here as well. Like if we had made another change here, it could have been here as well. All right. So now let's try to understand how to read this. Right. I think the most thing that people fear with merge conflicts is it's just like we don't know what's happening. Right. There are just these curly I don't know, the lesser than greater than signs, and we don't know which one to use. That feels a little scary. But if we try to understand the messages here, it might just become easier. So basically, whenever there are merge conflicts, like this thing, right, lesser than to greater than sign, this entire block, let's think of it as one conflict, right? And we could have similar blocks below as well. And this block has two sections, right? One is a head section, and the other one is the other branch section. Okay. So what does the head section mean? It just means where the location where we currently are, right? So if we do git log, currently our head is pointing to master. So whatever is present in this head section is basically things that were present on master. All right, and the section below that, which is not head, is basically from the place that we are trying to merge. So we said git merge demo. We're trying to merge from demo, and that's what this section is. Basically, the code here in this section is from demo branch.
Okay.
Right. So git tells us that hey, this was there in master, and like whatever, this was the name. This other thing was there in demo. We have edited the exact same line, and I don't know which one to keep. So what should I do? That's what git is saying. Right. Now it's for us to determine which is the one we need. Right. Sometimes it might be easy that hey, I need the one from demo branch. So let's just keep that and get rid of like the thing that is present on head. So that's one possibility. The other possibility could be hey, we need this. We need the thing in master, the head part. We don't need this. That's another possibility. There could be a little more tricky ones where we need things from both. Right? Like for example, a lot of this happens during import statements. There are a whole bunch of import statements. On master, you made like imported a few things. On other branch, you imported more things, but they are like on the same line, so that's why it caused conflict. And when you're resolving, you want both. Whatever, like all that would depend on which part of the code, what you're doing, and all that. But basically, it just gives us some hints that this is like present here, that's present there. Which one are you? Which one do you really want? And in case like we don't really know why somebody has done it certain way, then this is also a good point to just talk to them, like to see that hey, you made these changes, but I was expecting this. Is there some reason? What should we do about this conflict? That's another thing that we could do. But yeah, so for now, let's just assume that we are picking from demo branch. We don't need the rest, right? So, and we need to just clear out all the greater than less than signs as well. And then after that, now let's say git status again. So in order to finish a merge, as in to tell Git that hey, it's all fine, I've resolved the conflicts, we would need to do a git add and then git commit. Before that, in case we wanted to, like abort the merge. Let's say that this conflict is too much right now and we don't want to look at it right now. Maybe we want to look at it later. So we could also just say abort the merge. That's another option, right? But right now, since we fixed it, we can just say git add this file.
So when we abort the merge, which one does it pick or leave?
Nothing. It just goes back to the older state. So it goes back to the states before we ran git merge demo. So it's almost like no change. And okay, so now that they're happy with it, we did git add, and then we could just say git commit to conclude the merge. So one nice thing about git is I feel like every time we do git status, it tells us what commit to, what message to type in next. We don't really need to remember a lot of things. So we could just do this, and then now if we see, we would have this new merge commit present. So so this is about resolving conflicts. As in, like, it probably gives us an idea of why we would get conflicts, and at least helps us understand these sections, and that could maybe help us to try and understand which ones to use, or basically how to resolve conflicts.
Got it. So yes, so today we have seen what is git branching. Also spend some time understanding what does head mean, where it is pointing. Then we saw the how to branch, why do we need to branch and how to branch. And then we also saw that creating a new branch doesn't make the head point to the new branch. We'll have to check out with the git checkout new branch name so that the head starts pointing to the new branch. Right? And then from then on, any commit will be on the branch and not on the master. And if you want to merge the master with the new branch, so first we check out the master and then we do a git merge, then git push. We might also face situations where there are conflicts, wherein if multiple people are working on the same file or have made different changes, have made changes to two different files, then Git will automatically merge the conflict. If people are making changes to the same file, then Git doesn't understand which one to keep. So we would need human intervention, and then we would see the less than and greater than. So less than would say wherever we see the head, it tells where we are, meaning it is the master branch. So that is, and the the other arrows would point out the other branch where we see the conflict. Now we decide which one to keep. Based on that, we can delete the other, or if we see that we need data from both of them, then we talk to the respective person who has done the change and then fix the code. Right? Once that is done, then we could merge and then commit. Right? If we don't want the merge, then we could abort the merge as well, which is as good as going back to the state where we had not merged the commit. Right? So with that,
sorry, just a couple of points. So there are also like shortcut commands which can tell us create a branch and directly move the head as well. So that's also possible. And another thing is when we see merge conflicts and we see that head part, it's not necessarily master. It's basically where we currently are. So there is a chance that I might be on demo branch and I want the latest code from master to be present in demo branch. Let's say I'm still experimenting. I've not concluded my experiments, but there are some changes which somebody has pushed on master, which I want in my demo branch. So I might do the other way merge, right? I might stay on demo and I could say git merge master. So in that case, if I get a conflict, since I am on demo, my head is actually like the demo section. So it just basically means where you currently are. So the head part is just where you currently are, and the other part is what you're actually trying to merge to where you are.
Got it. Good. So, yeah, with that, we have touched upon Git branching and merging conflicts. If anyone of you has any questions or feedback, feel free to write to us as a comment on the video. Anything else, Lavanya?
I guess that's what it.
Okay, good. So that concludes our 10th episode. See you soon in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.